Hi, Mark.
Hello.
How are you doing? Are you having a good week?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, a really good week. I'm excited for the podcast. To be honest, these IoTsy are getting. I'm looking forward to them more and more because it's like a stress relief for me. I almost build up this stuff during the week and then go, right, when it gets to Friday, it's IoTsy time, and I'm ranting.
Brilliant. Is that what we can expect from you today? A bit of a rant?
A controlled rant, I'd say. I'll save that for when I get home. And no one will listen to me anyway, but either way.
Perfect. Well, our topic today is CX. So let's start by asking you what CX means to you.
I know what it meant now, as in customer experience. Yeah. I think if you would have asked me that question 6 months ago, I'd have thought you said something rude to me. I'd have been Googling going,
you had a bit of a journey.
What does that mean? What does CX mean? Because anyway, let's not go down that route. But yeah, I know what it is now. I know why, and this is the reason why I was keen to do this podcast, because if anything, it's just as vital as having the platform that we've got for me. But 6 months ago, I didn't have a clue. Didn't know.
Okay, great. Well, tell me about the CX transformation that you've been on.
Well, I always believe that, what do we call it here? We call it, don't make someone important only when they're important. They're always important. We've always lived and died on that sort of strategy. And what I mean by that is, and everybody watching this will probably know, how many times do you get phone calls out of the blue from someone that you haven't spoken to in months or even years, actually, and they want something from you? Or how many times have you tried to build a relationship with someone? It's very transactional and they only want to talk to you when you can do something for them. And for us, that was a key cornerstone in our businesses, that we wanted to make those relationships that we saw as important, and those key people around us all the time important. What was really interesting is when we were speaking about CX, or when I was starting to learn about CX, some of those same connotations were in there, which sparked my interest to go, well, what is this CX sort of stuff? I don't know anything about it. And I'd always go in with a bit of a churned up face going, oh, are we going to get a management consultant telling me everything about customer service and what I should be doing with my business and what I shouldn't be doing with my business, and preaching? However, as we have found from the lovely Sharon, CX is really important, but it's only important if it is aligned to your business. We've got a very unique culture in MKL. I would say that it is very unique. It is based on hard work. We run ourselves into the ground quite a bit, but it is also based on strong personalities, a culture to push forward, but also a welcoming culture. If you're here and you are prepared to do a good job, then you will be rewarded accordingly, and you will feel part of a family. Now, if someone was going to overlay a CX book and pull out a strategy and put it onto us, and anybody who knows MKL or myself or John, the other founder, will know that just it won't work, especially from John. He is a traditional engineer. I mean, you get any engineers in a room and you start talking about soft strategies, woolly, doing dream boards or moon boards or wish boards or bing bong boards or whatever you want to call them, that switch off. For us, I mean, I'm not going to read all these out, but this is why it was important. For us, it was about linking it into not only our personality, but our terminology. I mean, for example, Sharon, one of our CX pillars is, I'm going to read it out because it's important, and I'll explain what it means. I'm not going to read them all out because that's going to be boring for everyone. But one of them, which is the most important for me, is we won't polish a turd, nor will we roll it in glitter. You'll only get cutting edge technology. And what does that basically mean? That basically means that from previous podcasts where we've talked about us and what we do and the passion and how we're going to bring the technology forward, I will never, and nor would I, try to sell you something that is a bit inferior and put it at a ridiculous markup and try to tell you it will do things that it won't. That is not what we're about. For us, it's all about bringing you the best technology, but deploying it in a way that's relevant to your business. Again, it comes back to my previous points in other podcasts around selling that IoT dream. It's great to sell a dream, it really is, and it's easy to sell a dream, especially if you're in a room with people that don't know that much about technology. Unfortunately, you can see people try to bamboozle others in that room. For us, it's about saying, this is a fantastic piece of kit. It does what it says on the tin. It's at a reasonable price, and this is what it will do for your business. Nothing more, nothing less. And that for me is CX in a lot of ways. CX for me isn't just about having, well, of course it's elements, having the right contact points, making sure your SLAs are tight. I mean, that's for me, that's not CX, that's bread and butter. That's the common stuff you should be doing in a traditional business. In FM, in IoT, I haven't seen, I'd love to be corrected here, I haven't seen any organization leading from the front from a CX point of view. And look at what's happened with COVID. I mean, how many businesses got that wrong going into COVID?
Absolutely.
I'm sat in a Regis at the moment, and I've had God knows how many arguments with Regis about how they performed and how they treated us as clients, but others as a result of going into it. But it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard to do. But the hard part is knowing it's important, understanding it's important, and then aligning it to your strategy and then making it live and breathe. That's the key thing.
And if you felt that it's brought any value your way?
Massively. 100%. As I said at the start, this for me is just as important as having the dev time, the platform, the ecosystems that we have with our technology providers, everything. It is crucial, because someone can buy your platform. Of course they can buy your platform, but it's that CX stuff, being very honest, that keeps them coming back and wanting more. As I said in other podcasts, Renegade Ignite is our Igniter IoT kit, gets you going without any scary costs or any difficult integration. It'd be easy to flog that, it really would, and not touch your customer as a result of that. But as part of the CX and aligning it to what they want and what they need, and making sure that they feel that you are not selling them something unnecessarily, they will always buy more, because why wouldn't they? They've had their fingers burnt countless times. They've been promised loads of stuff and it's never happened. It's the same in the FM sector. Massive nepotism. Clients go from client to provider to provider to provider, expecting the next best thing. And what do they get? The best that they get is a planner in a fancy frock. And that's it. Nothing in regards to a cool platform, and nothing in regards to putting the customer first. And I mean that. It's quite a serious comment to make, but I haven't seen any providers of that ilk putting the customer in the center of everything they do. And I'd love to be corrected on that, but I haven't seen it yet.
Great. Okay, thank you. So last time you talked about Renegade Ignite, which was the brand new customers who were just thinking about IoT. So that was, you were focusing on that sector, which makes sense. You're now looking at a different segment entirely, which is the FM providers. Can you tell me a bit more about customers?
Well, FM providers, I've got a very hard time at the moment. The sector is in need of innovation. There's loads of cool stuff out there. I'd recommend anybody watching this, go and have a look at Mike Green on LinkedIn. Claire as well from Lineker's. Those guys are starting to really push in regards to technology in building and traditional manufacturing businesses. But the FMs, a traditional FM, it's a race to the bottom most of the time. Who can do it fastest and who can do it cheapest? But as a result of that, you've got clients that are saying to the FM, I want more, or I want the same level of service, and I'm not paying more for that. You need to give me more, but I'm not paying you more. And also, to add to that, I've got a load of staff, and well-being is really important to me. And I want to know about what these sustainable development goals are. So can you provide me an energy management system? And also my BMS is at end of life, and I ain't got 200 grand to rip that out. What can you do with that? And the margins in the FM sector are so tight that they haven't got much capital unless you are well funded. You haven't got much cash to innovate. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to position ourselves from a help point of view. So why go and spend your money, your time, your effort learning, building, creating, failing, trying to implement, getting it wrong, your own IoT platform? What we're positioning ourselves as, we've already done that. We've done that hard work for you, and we are providing our platform to you as a SI or a system integrator. And the real jewel in the crown with this is anybody can say that. They really can. But for us, we've got proof. And what that proof is we are innovation partners to Waits Group. We went through a very rigorous process to become an innovation partner with that company. For those of you who are watching this who are not from the UK, Waits are a very big construction and FM company in the UK, an institution, so to speak. They've been around for over 170 years. They look for innovation partners to work with. Waits know that they're not great at some of these areas, so what do? They don't stick their head in the sand like a lot of the providers do. They go out and they find partners and bring them in, and as a result of that, we get put in front of their clients for innovation. And it works. It just works because the clients look at Waits and go, you're my FM provider, you're doing my traditional bread and butter, you do my fixed wire test, you do my emergency light, etc., etc., etc. But also, these guys are going to not only put a really cool EMS system in, they're not only going to tell me how many times a bathroom has been cleaned, they're not only going to do my emergency light tests remotely without nobody doing it out of hours, they're also going to integrate with my old BMS, extend the life of that for at least 2 years and save significant costs from not only from an energy point of view, but not having a trend engineer having to come out and fix the thing. My God, you are fantastic. And it makes those clients sticky. And this is our learning over the past 2.5 to 3 years. And this is what we want to try to provide to other FM companies. Is there's no reason why you can't do the same thing. The bigger boys are doing it. If you don't do it, it's just going to be the same story again. And how tight is your cash as a result of COVID? It's time to do something different.
Absolutely. And you've been creating a microsite, haven't you, specifically for this type of customer?
For FM providers, it's really important for us to have those microsites. So what does a microsite mean is we have our traditional website, mklinnovation.com. But what we wanted to also create is separate sites where you could update that information really quickly. I mean, for those of you watching this who've got your own websites, you know how long it takes to update a traditional website. It takes time, takes cash, takes a lot of effort. With a microsite, you build it for free. These are all free services, and you can put as much information on there as you want, but it's all about succinct information. We've got microsites now. If you look on our Instagram account, in the link in our Instagram account, we have I think it's called a tree link, isn't it? Link tree. In there, you've got all sorts of different links that tell you about MKL. In there as well, you've got an FM SI one. And then you've also got it's got it on our Instagram account, it's on our LinkedIn account, it's on our Twitter account as well.
Okay, I'm going to have to bring it to the end because we've got somebody coming in, but you've got a webinar coming soon, I believe, about CX and IoT.
The last one would be on the 22nd of July at 2 p.m.
It is indeed. I'll put the link inside for the podcast. Thank you very much, Mark.
CX IoT website. Check in UNICEF. UNICEF are going to get loads of money. Please, please, please watch. Thank you. Bye.
That's right. Thank you. Have a great day, Mark. Bye.
Bye.